first of all, I want to say that Kunst-Natur Lab, like Art and Nature Lab, it is a meeting point for artists, but also for farmers, for people that are doing handcraft, and people that are interested in the theme of art and culture. What we want from that is a sharing moment to collaborate and to engage all together to find an harmonious approach to nature and art. We are living in a decade of climate catastrophes. We see it every day. And as a person, and me as a person, an artist, I feel very affected by this situation. So I cannot ignore to face and challenge myself as an artist to embrace this activism. So many of you are here because work in the same field. Some others, they find themselves for the first time in this kind of work together.
My name is Leah Nilsson, and I'm
there is an interplay between us.
With taking hundreds of photos. I remember the smells, I remember the feel of the place, I remember the time, I remember all the interactions, the story that's going on. So that is the essence of
this. Day 1. Today, the opening of Art Nature Lab workshops and lectures brought us to a special and unique place where a necessity put into practice became a reason for living a mission. We have been guests of the Heritage Cultural Farm founded 25 years ago by the Danish shepherd Berit Kielerich, who wants to share her 800 sheep and all her knowledge and skills about them. Here she is taking care of the sheep, landscaping and biodiversity in a holistic way. The land is open to everyone and there is no fencing. During these last days, the doors of the farm were opened also to Maria Kosomora, a Serbian eco-designer and founder of the slow fashion brand Kosomora. Meanwhile, opening her workshop, Maria mentioned a holistic approach, affirming that each change we make to one part, we make it for the whole. She moved us towards a deeper level of consciousness in one of our daily life activities, the choice and purchase of clothing. How to be less chemical, how to avoid the huge waste of energy, how to use and be aware about the existence of natural resources.
Om Benza Sato Samaya Manupalaya Benza Sato Tenopa Tita Drilo Me Bawa Suto Kayo Me Bawa Supo Kayo Me Bawa Anuraktu Me Bawa Sarwan Shiri Mentraya Sarwa Karwa Sutame Kitam Shiriya Kuruhun Ahahaho Bhagawen Sarva Tathagata Benza Mame Munza Benji Bawa Mahasamaya Sato
We spent our second day participating in the bio-installation workshop led by the artists of E.T. for You with Klaus Weiss, Kaan Hauskau Jensen and Johanne Randen, and by the Serbian architect Dragana Kojcic. When we arrived at Naturkraft, they welcomed us around their creation. They were waiting for us to complete it. Theirs was not a common choice. Unknown and most inexperienced hands were entrusted with the task of finishing their work of art. Under a big green tent, they had prepared a long working table with dishes, bowls, jars, bottles, shingles. In each of them, there were examples of the different natural materials we would then be using on their installation. They gave us the possibility to have a sensorial experience. We touched, we smelled, we combined, and we shaped all the different natural materials. Then they let us be aware of the fact that nature concerns everything: politics, arts, personal behavior, social life. It is difficult to put into words what was happening in the afternoon, when all the hands together besieged from each side the installation. 4 hours under the sun, building bricks, chopping woods, chopping small trunks, stirring clay with pigments of color, straw, water, heather. Everyone could fill up a part of the installation far beyond the artistic and manual skills of each one. Our third day of work began visiting the Garden of Wonder, Forundringens of Vestjyllands Højskole. There we met Kirsten Bjerre, the former kitchen leader of the school, who was introducing us to the principles of the biodynamic agriculture they are following. She told us about more than 20 years of research and collaboration with some German colleagues to prepare the humus with which they fertilize the earth within the time frame of the planting and sowing calendar. We spent the rest of the day in Brogården, a residency for artists, managed by the municipality of Ringkøbing, where we were welcomed by Dina Abu Hamdan, curator of Winterlys Festival and cultural consultant of the municipality. In this Danish old house and factory, Otto Pilgaard, sculptor, ceramist and founder of the International Wood Sculpture Symposium in Ringkøbing, led a workshop called Wood Sculpture Workshop, Materials, Tools and Possibilities. Introducing it, he used few and careful words. He invited us to find the connection between the different pieces of wood and to discover how fascinating it could be the way they interact and act together. All the activities of our fourth day of work took place in a forest, Hoverdal Plantage. Situated at about 15 kilometers from Ringkøbing, it has been planted in 1891 to reduce sand drift on the moors between the villages of Hova and Torsted. There you can still experience the inland dunes, in Danish called indsande. We opened the session with a walking lecture in the forest led by Leo Valentin Lindblom from Forestry Research Center in Sweden. Through his gaze and his knowledge, we could look at the nature beyond its apparent uniformity. We could feel the living spirit of a constant transformation.
So you can either stop.
Back from our personal journey, we stood up in a circle thanking the earth. I felt this was like an echo generated by the celebration of the Pachamama we had the previous night. My perception is that the program of Art-Nature Lab workshops and lectures is orchestrated and organized by Antonella Diana around some precise tasks, challenges and risks. Sometimes in a common way, sometimes through a personal path, we have always been called to collaborate with an active and participating attitude.
One of the plants will be to not looking at each
When the war will end and the sun will shine again, I will walk again the path so dear to me.
戦争が終わってまた日が昇るとき、私は戻ってきて私の道を歩みたい。
Who wants to dream this dream?
この夢を見たいのは誰？
War, you are a liar. War, you have stolen a piece of my heart.
戦争、お前は嘘つき。お前は泥棒。私の心を遠くへ連れ去った。
Who wants to dream this dream?
この夢を見たいのは誰？
¿Quién quiere soñar este sueño?
この夢を見たいのは誰？
¿Quién quiere soñar este sueño?
この夢を見たいのは誰？この夢を見たいのは誰？
According with this process of mutation, we ended the day going deeper. The shamanic journey led by the Swedish actress Petra Lindblom, Gestalt therapist and shamanic practitioner. We had the task to meet our power animal. It has been an experience to dialogue with a non-ordinary reality, following the principles and the ritual of an ancestral tradition. After the 4 days spent out in nature, we came back to the starting point, the headquarters of Theatret Om at Boen number 15. He invited us to find the connection between different pieces of wood to discover how fascinating it could be the way they act together. In this industrial area, not far from the city center and the harbor of Ringkøbing fjord, besides the entrance of the workshop of the theater, there is an old petrol station. Closed many years ago, it has been abandoned and fenced with an iron gating.
Ma non è vero, me l'hanno ritto che non è vero, si me ne dono pure a dormire nada volta e poi non mi esce fare più. Ne chi vo sto sonno, ne chi vo cantare, ne chi vo come vento del mare vene pette fa suonare tra Sarinto e non te la sa più. Come vento del mare vene pette fa suonare tra Sarinto e non te la sa più.
On the other side, just in front of the foyer door, there is a bunker used during the Second World War, on top of which is the metal silhouette of a soldier ready to fire his rifle.
And peace, and it's a very
Today this has been the natural stage where the 5 actresses Hisako Miura from Japan, Iben Neil Rasmussen from Denmark, Sandra Passini from Italy, Denmark, Jori Snell from Denmark, the Netherlands, Anna Wolf from Argentina, and the Italian bass player and composer Paolo Cozzolino. presented the 5th version of the site-specific performance Wu Xing.